Every roast begins here. Raw green coffee beans entering the machine-on heart of the factory. From dock to hopper, the green coffee beans follow a path designed for speed and control.
Before heat touches a bean, the factory measures every gram like a promise.
Traceability is the factory's memory. Every green coffee bean accounted for. The green coffee beans move like a river, guided, contained, and ready for transformation. Inside steel veins, green coffee beans climb toward storage, waiting for the fire of roasting. In these silos, green coffee beans rest under watch, sorted by origin and destined for heat. Before roasting, the factory purifies the flow. Only green coffee beans move onward. Air and gravity do the quiet work. Green coffee beans separated from what doesn't belong.
Lifted skyward, green coffee beans approach the threshold of roasting.
Stored above the drums, green coffee beans wait for the moment the valve gives way. Now the factory commits. Green coffee beans meet the turning drum and the coming heat. The drum turns like a clock, each second shaping the fate of the coffee. In the fire's first breath, green coffee beans shed their raw scent and wake. A single sample tells the story: heat, time, and the promise of flavor.
Even as the drum turns, the next wave of green coffee beans is already on the road.
Steel wheels carry the raw harvest, green coffee beans bound for controlled heat. The closer it gets, the more the world smells like industry and coffee. Transport ends where control begins, at the gate of the coffee roasting factory. Every load enters with a name, a number, and a trail the factory never loses.
Weight is truth in motion, measured before a single bean is poured.
Dock team, we need those green beans moving now.
Copy that. Moving now.
A short call, and the factory's muscles start moving in sync. The route is choreographed, every meter designed to reduce waste and risk. Before unloading begins, safety locks the scene into place. The cargo breathes out, green coffee beans waiting to become aroma. From trailer to floor, the factory pulls raw beans into its workflow. Transport is not just distance, it's timing, alignment, and control. Verification happens twice, because one mistake can echo through 1,000 bags.
Transport completes its purpose the moment the beans start to flow.
With the road behind them, green coffee beans become factory matter, ready for the next stage. The coffee roasting factory hides its arteries in plain steel, moving green coffee beans beyond the walls. Outside the coffee roasting factory, every line has a destination: storage, heat, and time. This coffee roasting factory is a living system built to turn green coffee beans into aroma on schedule.
Every shift begins with a door and a responsibility to the green coffee beans inside.
In the coffee roasting factory, clean hands protect the work long before heat begins.
The coffee roasting factory guides movement like a map, every step pointing toward process.
Inside the coffee roasting factory, sound is constant, machines speaking the language of green coffee beans. Up here, the coffee roasting factory reveals its logic: pipes, heat, and controlled flow.
Before roasting defines flavor, the coffee roasting factory demands clean green coffee beans.
Access is controlled because the coffee roasting factory runs on precision.
In the coffee roasting factory, the conveyor is the storyteller, carrying green coffee beans from stage to stage.
Clean air keeps clean work, another quiet discipline of the coffee roasting factory.
Even with automation, the coffee roasting factory still trusts human eyes on green coffee beans.
This is the threshold, where the coffee roasting factory prepares green coffee beans for their true change.
Only what meets the standard moves forward. Green coffee beans filtered by motion and design.
In the coffee roasting factory, every transfer is controlled. Green coffee beans never lose the path.
Air and angle separate what the eye can't, protecting the coffee roasting factory from hidden grit.
Unclean stream continues, green coffee beans moving forward with fewer risks. Nothing disappears in the coffee roasting factory. Every reject is recorded.
Safety layers stack quietly. Another shield around green coffee beans and machines.
Here, the coffee roasting factory gives green coffee beans a machine's eye, fast and unforgiving.
At full speed, the coffee roasting factory removes what doesn't match the standard.
Data becomes accountability. Green coffee beans tracked in numbers as well as taste.
Now cleaned and sorted, green coffee beans return to the main artery of the coffee roasting factory. Prepared and verified, green coffee beans rise again toward heat, timing, and transformation. The coffee roasting factory holds green coffee beans at the edge of change, seconds from the drum.
Heat is controlled here because green coffee beans become flavor only under discipline.
Another load enters the fire, green coffee beans committing to the turning drum.
Moisture leaves, structure opens. Green coffee beans starting their irreversible change.
With one glance and one breath, the coffee roasting factory decides the next seconds of the roast.
In the coffee roasting factory, one small turn guides the heat that reshapes green coffee beans.
Heat dries, color warms, green coffee beans stepping closer to roast.
Air is the invisible tool, shaping how green coffee beans roast inside the coffee roasting factory.
What leaves the drum matters too. Every roasted breath guided through steel.
The coffee roasting factory separates waste cleanly, so green coffee beans can become pure roast. Smoke is treated here, another discipline of the coffee roasting factory. Numbers replace guesswork, how the coffee roasting factory keeps green coffee beans consistent. The drum's rhythm shifts, preparing green coffee beans for the moment they speak.
First crack, when green coffee beans announce they've crossed a line.
Now the coffee roasting factory measures flavor in seconds.
Less flame, more control. How the coffee roasting factory shapes the last stretch of the roast.
A second sample confirms it. Green coffee beans have become roast in the making.
In the coffee roasting factory, the finish is a choice, timed, tested, and deliberate. Cooling waits like a landing, because roast must stop the moment it's right.
It's the release when the coffee roasting factory lets the roast fall into air.
The moment the drum opens, the coffee roasting factory trades fire for air. Cooling is controlled motion, how the coffee roasting factory locks in the roast. Even after heat, the coffee roasting factory keeps checking, batch by batch.
A quick grind reveals the truth, what the coffee roasting factory just created.
From green coffee beans to fragrance, proof appears in the smallest particles.
Aroma confirms direction. The coffee roasting factory listens with the nose, too.
Once cooled, the coffee roasting factory sends the roast onward, never stopping the flow. Even after roasting, the coffee roasting factory cleans again. Precision protects the batch. Now the coffee roasting factory gives the roast room to breathe.
Time finishes what fire began, inside the coffee roasting factory's degassing stage.
With pressure and purpose, the coffee roasting factory moves the batch to its final form. The coffee roasting factory shifts from heat to handling, preparing the roast for the world. Precision begins again, because the coffee roasting factory measures every bag by design. The factory gives the roast a body, film, seal, and the promise of freshness. From green coffee beans to a finished pouch, motion carries the story forward.
Automation in the coffee roasting factory turns timing into consistency, batch after batch from green coffee beans.
In the coffee roasting factory, sensors watch what hands can't, protecting every pouch made from green coffee beans.
Every gram is verified, how the coffee roasting factory honors the green coffee beans that started it.
Automation doesn't just move product, it stops errors before they leave the coffee roasting factory.
Traceability never breaks. Every pouch in the coffee roasting factory stays tied to its green coffee beans origin.
The coffee roasting factory scans beyond sight, guarding what began as green coffee beans. High-speed vision keeps the coffee roasting factory honest. One valve, one seal, one green coffee bean story.
The coffee roasting factory stamps identity into every pouch, so green coffee beans' origins stay readable months later.
Freshness is engineered. The coffee roasting factory replaces air, so the roast stays true to its green coffee bean start.
Once sealed, the coffee roasting factory smooths and stabilizes, preparing every pouch for packing. Automation choreographs motion, how the coffee roasting factory turns chaos into order, from green coffee beans to cartons. The coffee roasting factory packs with machine precision, protecting what green coffee beans became. From pouch to case, the coffee roasting factory keeps the chain unbroken. Green coffee beans' origin carried forward.
The coffee roasting factory watches itself, data flowing as smoothly as product from green coffee beans onward. Now the coffee roasting factory prepares for perfect stacks, finishing the journey that began as green coffee beans. Precision becomes physical, how the coffee roasting factory stacks the story of green coffee beans. Row by row, the coffee roasting factory turns movement into order, born from green coffee beans. Even the layers breathe, slip sheets helping the coffee roasting factory protect what green coffee beans became.
Protection is part of the product. The coffee roasting factory builds stability into every pallet.
The coffee roasting factory doesn't rush the finish. Alignment comes before wrap. A simple grip starts a strong shell, how the coffee roasting factory seals a pallet for travel. Spirals of film become armor. The coffee roasting factory prepares green coffee beans' final form for the road. Weather, dust, bumps, handled here before shipping ever begins.
The coffee roasting factory locks the load, so the green coffee bean story won't shift in transit.
Identity scales up. One barcode for thousands of beans inside the coffee roasting factory.
Acceptance is instant. Automation clearing the way to storage.
Now the coffee roasting factory moves from making to holding, protecting what began as green coffee beans.
Before dispatch, the coffee roasting factory gives every pallet a final proof. Movement pauses here because the coffee roasting factory trusts verification as much as speed. Now the coffee roasting factory tests what it made before the world receives it. Before dispatch, the coffee roasting factory proves the batch, traceable back to green coffee beans.
In the coffee roasting factory, testing begins with identity. Green coffee beans' history captured in data.
Clean tools, clean records. How the coffee roasting factory protects results.
From pouch to bench, the coffee roasting factory keeps the chain unbroken from green coffee beans.
Moisture is the invisible variable measured here by the coffee roasting factory to honor green coffee beans' work.
Numbers confirm stability, another checkpoint before the coffee roasting factory releases the batch.
Uniform grind reflects uniform roast. The coffee roasting factory verifies texture from green coffee beans to grounds.
Consistency is measurable. How the coffee roasting factory protects flavor born from green coffee beans.
Now the coffee roasting factory tests the most human metric, taste, traced to green coffee beans.
Aroma rises like evidence. The coffee roasting factory listens in steam.
Time sets the stage. How the coffee roasting factory repeats results from green coffee beans batch to batch.
The crust breaks and the roast speaks, still carrying the journey from green coffee beans.
Clean tools keep clean truth. How the coffee roasting factory protects every green coffee bean's result.
Taste is the final witness. How the coffee roasting factory confirms what green coffee beans became. Proved and documented, the coffee roasting factory sends the green coffee bean story back to the floor. With the release signed, the coffee roasting factory turns testing into permission to ship.
Now the coffee roasting factory moves the finished batch into waiting, safe, stacked, and tracked. Storage is engineered patience. The coffee roasting factory holds what began as green coffee beans.
Set in place, the batch becomes inventory, ready for the next call from the world. In the coffee roasting factory, storage is not hiding. It's recorded location and time. Dispatch begins with a request, pulling the right pallet from the green coffee beans chain. The coffee roasting factory keeps promises, retrieving exactly what the label says. From storage to exit, the coffee roasting factory guides the pallet like a final conveyor. Last checks at the edge, because the coffee roasting factory ships confidence, not just cartons.
The threshold opens. One more move, and the green coffee beans' journey leaves the factory.
Pallets become payload, finished coffee secured for the road.
Some pallets wait, some depart. Inventory moving under the coffee roasting factory's control.
The shipment seals shut, carrying the green coffee beans' story beyond these walls.
And this is how modern factories produce roasted coffee from start to finish.
From green coffee beans to sealed pallets, industry makes flavor possible.